Welcome back, students. So in this video we will discuss what are the other members of the solar system. So inner planets and outer planets. Also we can classify it into terrestrial planets and Jovian planets. So inner planets means the first 4 planets of the solar system, they are very close to the sun. They are known as inner planets. They are known as inner planets. They will have very few moons. Then the planets after Mars that are called outer planets of the solar system. All these planets have a ring system around them and possess a large number of moons. That's about inner planets and outer planets. The same classification or one more classification is there, that is terrestrial planets and Jovian planets. The first 4 planets, that is Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, that is known as terrestrial planets, and the other 4 planets are known as Jovian planets. So, Jovian planets are larger and far away from the sun, rotate faster and have more moons, have more rings and less denser. Okay, this Jovian planets will have a gaseous atmosphere with the main gas being hydrogen and helium. For the terrestrial planets, the word comes from the Latin word terra, means land. Terrestrial planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. All terrestrial planets are very close to the sun. In addition to that, terrestrial planets rotate slower. It has less number of moons. The main atmosphere of the terrestrial planet is a gaseous mixture of carbon dioxide and nitrogen gases. All the terrestrial planets have a rocky surface. The core of the terrestrial planets are mainly dense iron with silicate and with silicate. Okay, that's about terrestrial and Jovian planets. Now, what are the other members of which are the other members of the solar system? Now, this one is a basic comparison between the stars and the planet. So, stars are astronomical objects that emit their own light produced due to thermonuclear fusion occurring at its core. Planets refers to celestial object that has a fixed path in which they will move around the sun or the star. Stars will have their own light. For planets, they don't have their own light. Then their position, for stars the position will remain unchanged. For planets it will be changed. The size of stars is very big. For planets it is very small. There are 8 planets in the solar system and only 1 star in the solar system. Stars may twinkle, planets do not twinkle. For stars, it consists of mainly hydrogen, helium and other light elements. For planets, it consists of solid, liquid or gaseous or a combination of them. So, other members of the solar system. Just like other planets, there are certain celestial objects that are found in the solar system. Asteroids are small rock-like objects that are found orbiting around the sun. They are generally found between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. The region is called the asteroid belt. However, asteroids can also be found in other places of the solar system. So, this one is a space between the orbit of the Mars and that of the Jupiter. So, asteroids mainly revolve around the area that is known as the asteroid belt. There is a large gap between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. A large number of rocks called asteroids lie in this space. The largest The size of the asteroids varies from kilometer to a few hundred kilometer. So, next celestial object is comets. Comets are big pieces of ice or rock that also revolve around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Comets are the leftover pieces of rock that were formed at the time when the solar system was beginning its formation. Comets are often observed to have a tail. This tail appears as a comet approaches the sun. At that time, dust and other gases are discharged from the comet due to the heat of the sun. Since the comet is approaching the sun, the tail of the comet is always in the opposite direction of the sun. As the distance between the sun and the comet increases, the size of the tail of the comet also increases. Since the comet revolve around the sun, they can be viewed at periodic times from the earth. For example, Halley's comet appears after every 76 days. It was last viewed in 1986. A comet is a celestial object that revolves around the sun in very long period of revolution. A comet appears like a ball of fire with a long bright tail as it approaches the sun. The tail always points away from the sun and its size increases as it approaches the sun. The head of the comet is made up of heavy particles and it is attracted towards the sun. The tail consists of dust and gases. When a comet enters the Earth's atmosphere, it burns up due to the heat produced by the air friction. So, when a comet enters the Earth's atmosphere, it burns due to the heat produced by the air friction. Now, again this Halley's comet will be can be viewed in 2061 or 2062. Okay. Then meteors and meteorites. Meteors are small objects made of mainly stones present in space. They regularly enter the Earth's atmosphere. As a meteor enters the Earth's atmosphere at very high speed, it is heated by friction with the air. And in most of the cases, it burns into ashes in a very short time. As it heats up and burns, it appears as a glowing streak of light and is called a shooting star, although it is not a star at all. So, we can see a shooting star in the sky on a clear night. If a meteor is very large, it may fall on the Earth's surface before being completely burned out. Such meteors are known as meteorites. Such meteors are known as meteorites. Okay. The asteroids in the space sometimes collide with each other and form meteors. Hence, all small pieces of an asteroid is called meteorites. Meteors are formed when a meteorites enter the Earth. Light up as streaks of light. However, if they do not get evaporated in the sky before reaching the Earth's surface, the streak of light is therefore visible for a short time, only for a short time. Meteors are also known as shooting stars because of their characteristic feature. They are not stars but just a piece of rock. Then artificial satellites. Scientists of several countries including India have sent artificial satellites into space. These satellites revolve around the Earth. The first satellite was sent by USSR on 4th October 1957. It was called Sputnik 1. Today, there are many satellites in the space. India sent her first satellite into space on 19th April 1975. It was called Aryabhatta. Since then, India has sent many more artificial satellites into space. Artificial satellites are very useful to us. They help in television and radio communication. They help in telephone communication. They help us to study and forecast the weather by sending clouds picture to the earth taken from the space. They help in locating minerals and studying agriculture yield on the earth by photographing land from above. This is known as remote sensing, which means collecting information from a distance. They help scientists to know more about the universe by collecting information about space. So, there are man-made satellites that are sent to the space to revolve around the earth. Their orbits nearer to the earth as compared to the moon. Functions of the artificial satellites are weather forecasting, transmission of signals of radio and television, remote sensing and telecommunication. Some Indian artificial satellites of the earth. Aryabhatta was the first Indian satellite named after famous Indian astronomer. It was launched on 19th April 1975. It was built by ISRO. INSAT, the International Satellite System, it's a series of multi-purpose geostationary satellites launched by ISRO to satisfy the telecommunication, broadcasting and search and rescue operations, commissioned in 1983. INSAT is the largest domestic communication system in the Asia Pacific region. It is a joint venture of the Department of Space, Department of Telecommunication, Indian Meteorological Department, All India Radio and Doordarshan. IRS, that is Indian Remote Sensing System, is the largest of groups of remote sensing satellites for civilian use in operation today in the world, with 11 operational satellites. Okay, so that's about artificial satellites.